Hello, and welcome to
Morgan's Math at Midnight.
Today, we will be learning how to find the area of a rectangle using only the perimeter and some vague knowledge. We'll also be learning how to calculate the circumference and the area of a circle. Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, so my dumbass forgot to read the question, so I'm just gonna read it here. A park has a tennis court with a perimeter of 320 feet. The length is 3 times the width. What is the area? This is a more broad look, so you're gonna have to pay attention. Let's use all this area down here, okay? So, to start, earlier we diagrammed our thing. I had to switch rooms, but these are congruency lines. These two little lines, these say that these sides are equal in distance. Next, these are also congruency lines. Next are the boxes. This signifies it's a rectangle. I could go into the math, but no. Next are parallel lines. This says that these two sides are going the same way. To make a rectangle, you only need the congruency lines and the box. You do not need these parallel bars. I like to add them, but personally, you don't have to do that. So, to start off with any problem like this, where we are given the perimeter, we must work like this. P equals 320. We already know this. We have to add feet. What is P equal to? Well, get rid of the feet, and it's just 320. We can always leave our units for later. So remove it. Okay? So, how do you get perimeter? Well, you do, let's say this side is 10, this side is 5, and then this side is 5. Oopsie, sorry. This side is 5, and this side is 10. To get perimeter, you just add it all, right? 5, 5, 10, 10, 20 plus 10 equals 30. That would be our perimeter. So, the same way of writing it is 2W, which is equal to 2W plus 2L. In this case, the L would have been the 10, and 10 times 2 is 20, so let's write that down, 20, and then plus, and then this case, it would have been a 5. 5 times 2 is 10, which means our perimeter in this case would have been 30. But we're not doing that problem, now are we? So, 2W plus 2L is the formula to solve the perimeter, okay? We can get rid of this P now. That means 320 equals 2W plus 2L. Well, here's the funny thing. 2L and 2W are different variables, so they can't be added together. However, let's look at the information we have from earlier, right? Okay, so the length is 3 times the width. That means that the width is larger than the length, which means W times something must equal L, correct? Now, we need to think on this one, okay? To figure that out, what times what equals the width? Okay, now, we're actually given this number 3 times. Now, sometimes the length can be 3 times the width, or the width can be 3 times the length. So you need to make sure to watch for the wording. That means 3W is equal to 1L. We can substitute. This is W, right? We'll get rid of our 5 since that is no longer the number. And this is L, okay? But we now know that L equals 3W. So, we can copy this. W is on this side, so it can also be on this side. 3W is on this side, so it can also be on this side. How many W's do we have? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, how do we create those W's? I'll go into that a little later, because we're kind of running out of time. So, if we know that 1L equals 3 W's, how many L's equals... How much does 2 L's equal, okay? How many W's equals 2 L's? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 6W plus 2W must equal 320, okay? Now, with 320, 6 plus 2 is 8. Bring down the W. Now we have this weird case. We have the numbers by themselves, but we only want the variable. So, to get rid of it, we must divide by 8. Divide by 8. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other, okay? This leaves us with W equals... So what is 320 divided by 8? Well, simple. It's 40. If you couldn't figure that out, just do 32 divided by 8 is 4. Carry down the 0. That means 320 divided by 8 must equals 40. That means each side is 40, which means W equals 40. However, don't get ahead of yourself. If a length is equal to 3W, well, 40 times 3 must be this. Now, what is 40 times 3? I'll save you the trouble. It equals 120, okay? Let me put a times symbol. So, now we have both sides. Now, what is area equal to? Area is equal to length times width. Our length is 120, as discussed earlier. We'll put the units down later, and our width is 40. 40 times 120 equals 48. Add 2 zeros, 4,800. Now, this is where we need to bring our stuff back. Feet squared. Just memorize its feet squared. You don't need to genuinely carry the feet and then double. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And this is problem 1 of the problem. So, this is 4,800 feet. Hopefully that helps. There might be some questions. Part 2, next. Part 2. And here's part 2 of our question. This is the circle part. Part 2. A circle pond has the diameter of the width of the tennis court. What is the pond's area and circumference? I forgot to add a question mark. Oopsie, y'all. Don't sue me. Now, for diagramming circles, this is pretty easy. We don't need to add anything. However, there is one thing we need to add. This little cute dot. This dot will be right in the center of your circle. That's all you have to do to diagram it. It makes sense later. So, the diameter goes across the circle. Hopefully you know that. If you didn't, the diameter goes across the circle. Now, it's the same as the width of the tennis court. Now, if we go back, the width of the tennis court was 40 feet. So, this is 40 feet. Also, something I forgot to mention, make sure once you do your final answers to add back the units. Otherwise, Miss Platt will go Miss fucking crazy on you. So, now we have 40 feet. Now, we need the radius to do calculations, because both formulas look like this. Actually, I'm only going to do one. A is equal to area of a circle. Make sure you don't need to add that. I'm just doing it so you guys understand. Pi, that's not pi. Pi equals r squared. So if you see, you get radius, and for circumference, we'll do that one over here. It's 2 pi r. Okay, so we need the radius. So the radius, if you do not know, is half the diameter. So diameter divided by 2 equals r for radius. Okay, sorry my claws are in the way. Diameter divided by 2 is equal to the radius. So 40 divided by 2. I'll give you a minute to figure this one out. Okay, good job. 20 feet. 20 ft. Okay, now we can get to the fun part. Calculations. Let's start with this formula. Insert r in it. 20 feet. Okay, we're gonna go step by step. Setup is janky. I wish you could see it. 20 times 20 equals 400. 400 pi. Now, I am too fucking lazy to figure out what this is. So, I'm just going to substitute pi for 3. Okay? 3 times 400 is 1200. Remember. Oh, sorry. Wrong comma. Remember. A's and equal signs must stay together. These are the barriers. Every line you must keep it, okay? Sorry, but you need to. That means the area of the pond is equal to 1,200 feet squared. Now, if you can tell, there's not enough room to write it, so I'm not gonna. Just know that's the area of the pond. Finally, circumference. This one's the easier one. Substitute. R is 20, 2, and pi, because we already know that the R is that. Okay, what's 2 times 20? 40. Now, why are we allowed to cut over? Well, it's because they're all getting multiplied. If everything has the same symbol, except for division and subtraction, also exponents and parentheses. So, if it's addition and multiplication, you can do it in any order. Because 7 plus 2 plus 3 is going to be the same as 3 plus 7 plus 2. Okay? Same as 2 times 20 is going to be the same as 20 times 2. It's called the commutative property. So, we can cheat. This equals 40. You know that. Now, obviously, like I said earlier, I'm lazy. Pi is going to substitute for 3. In the future, it will be expected of you to use 3.14159. This is pi, followed by. But we don't need to do that here, because this is just cheating. But remember, pi is equal to 3.14159. That's as far as I can get. I don't remember. So 40 times 3 is 120, which means our circumference equals 120 feet. Remember, circumference is the area around it. This is just the ghetto perimeter. So it's going to stay the same, okay? That's why we don't need to square it, okay? Now, remember, C's and barriers. You can do them afterwards. I don't care. But hopefully this helps. There's a lot of questions. I had to go over this fast. I wanted to be just short video. So, thank you for watching. I hope this helps. Next week, we're probably gonna do, scientific notation. That one's much easier to explain. But yeah, hopefully this helps. If you don't, you guys can text me, obviously, I'm messing. That's only for my friends. So yeah, have a good day. Hopefully this helps you guys. Bye.